Hey guys, this is Bharadwaj with Fonearena.com and this is the HTC Desire 820 that we recently unboxed. So this is a modest upgrade from the HTC Desire 816, which was the mid-range flagship or so to speak from HTC. So this has new dual tone design and souped up internals, but some of the things have not changed, and that includes the camera. The camera is a 13 megapixel unit, and being a mid-range shooter, it doesn't do much. But we did test it out to see how it fares because this is really an important device for HTC in the mid-range, and people have been asking a lot about it. So this is going to be the camera review of the HTC Desire 820. Let's go ahead. The Desire 820 has the same camera unit as the 816. You have a 13 megapixel sensor, a f2.2 aperture lens on top of it, and a LED flash below, but that's about it for the hardware. The main core experience is, of course, software. Software is where HTC makes a difference, and they have made the same difference since the HTC One M8. So the UI is exactly the same, but the modes are quite different. You have the camera, selfie, split capture, and photo booth. Camera is just the normal rear camera, selfie is the front facing camera, split capture is combining both, and photo booth is taking a strip of photos. In the selfie mode, you can see that the 8 megapixel sensor is actually not too bad. It's all right. It's not great. For example, the Eli E7 had a much better experience, but yeah, this is what you get, and it has no autofocus. And taking a picture, you can take a look at the detail you get. So here is the 8 megapixel front facing camera, and this is the maximum detail you get, which is not too bad really. It's sharpened, it's over sharpened, and it's not too great, but that's the front facing camera, and if you're looking at taking selfies, this is good enough. But otherwise, the experience is almost exactly the same. Now you have a lot of controls on the right, main controls as the shutter buttons for the stills and video, the gallery thumbnail, and the mode switcher, and there's also the flash. But otherwise, you have the controls that are below. For example, you have the modes. The modes include video and photos. For example, you have fast HD and slow HD. That's the slow motion video and the 60 fps video. There is the night mode, there is the HDR, there is also again the sweep panorama, there is the anti-shake, and of course there is manual. Manual is most interesting because you have complete control over the white balance. This is the white balance, and there is the exposure compensation, there is the ISO control, there is also the shutter speed and focus. This is definitely important because when you're taking macro shots, a lot of time it doesn't focus. So yes, it should be really important. And yeah, that's the manual mode, and you can switch between that and the other modes that are usually part of point and shoot cameras. But switching back to the normal auto mode, you can find even more controls below. That's for the ISO, the exposure compensation, automatic white balance, and even filters. They have a lot of filters, but again, not much of a use. And going into the settings, the highlights are completely blown, but yeah, now you can take a look at that. You have the settings here, you have the crop and so on, the camera options, and the other stuff. So you have the video quality adjustment here, 720p, 1080p, and so on. Nothing special, and that's about it for the camera UI. That's the complete UI there. So let's talk about the performance now. The HTC Desire 820 performs pretty well in daylight conditions. So here are some samples that we took, and take a look at the detail that you get in the photos. It does struggle in conditions like, for example, overblown highlights in the background and sometimes in the foreground because of the small sensor, but again, the detail is pretty decent and overall the image looks quite pleasing. This is the 13 megapixel sensor in action, not the 4 megapixel unit. It's actually much better than the ultra pixel fad that HTC wants to use, but thankfully it has stopped using it. So this is the macro performance. of the Desire 820. It's quite good, and you can take a look at more samples here. Now moving on, we also have the other kinds of conditions, like for example low light. Low light is extremely hard for most cameras, and the HTC Desire 820 is no exception. It performs really poorly in low light, but the flash is a savior when it comes to low light conditions. It does work kind of well, not the best, but the LED flash is good enough to light up the environment. So yeah, that was the low light mode, macro and daylight shots that you saw. Now moving on to video, the phone can indeed record and play back 1080p videos at 30 fps. So here is a video sample that we shot to give you an idea of what it's like.
Hey guys, this is Bharatwaj with Fonearena.com, and this is the video test sample in 1080p resolution for the HTC Desire 820. Quite noisy outdoors here, not too bright here, so it is a bit muted in terms of colors, and detail is also not so great. But yeah, that's the video sample quality that you get with the HTC Desire 820. Do check out the other videos for more samples and check out the full review to know more about the Desire 820. Thanks for watching.
So overall, the camera performance on the 820 is pretty decent for its price. It's retailing for around 25k, and it has a 13 megapixel camera that has enough resolution and details in most good conditions, well lit conditions. And low light, well, it sucks, but you do have the flash to make it up. So you have decent camera performance, not the best, but yeah, you have muted colors, you have very low contrast, but still much better than what HTC has offered in the past. So very good improvement on that front, and the camera UI is indeed a delight to use. It's very fast and very easy to use, and you have plenty of settings. You have manual settings too, so that makes it much more interesting. So there you go, that was a look at the HTC Desire 820's camera. We hope you enjoyed the video, and do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already for more videos like these. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think in the comment section below.